Hello and welcome back to Assetto Corsa. Thank you very much for joining me in today's video. This is not a Nordschleife challenge video, this is not a live stream. This is going to be a video in which I spin a lot, a video in which I probably crash a lot, and a video in which hopefully I learn a lot. In today's video I'm going to be attempting to learn how to drift. Now, I did try this a couple of months ago and all of my recording software sort of messed up. And I did try it and I think I got a little bit better at drifting, at least with one car. In that time, since then, I have not touched anything, I have not done any drifting, I've not really done any racing either. So, this is going to be almost fresh, but not quite. The title of this video is going to be learning how to drift, but I'm just going to sort of preface this with I've done a little bit already. And in the past I have done power sliding on cars, I have power slid cars, I have accidentally drifted cars, so there is that, but never intentionally and never at a point where I want to maybe get it going around a corner and then transitioning to a corner in the opposite direction, which I'm then going to have to drift through that, and so on and so forth. So that is going to be the point of today's video. Make sure you stay tuned. I would very much appreciate advice, and I'm also going to point out that I have no handbrake. So I know that handbrake is sort of useful. I also know that the Assetto Corsa drift cars are not very good overall. They're okay but not great. I have installed some proper drift cars which I will be going into a little later in this video, but I thought I would try to start with a rear wheel drive BMW E30 M3. That should be good enough, right? Let's get started and let me see if I can do this. The answer is probably no, but you never know. Alright, to help me along, I'm just going to... Wait, is that... Oh, those lights are incorrect. For some reason, so I've downloaded some... an update for the BMWs in general, but it looks like the handbrake is being marked as the battery. So I do have a handbrake button, but I have no actual handbrake. Okay, so let's see how this works. I also have obviously a track map up, so I know my way around this track, and you know where I am. I'm at a track that people playing Grid would be familiar with, and hopefully if I do this I should be able to, get some, being able to look into corners and see exactly where I'm going. Okay, so just going to ease into this, get a feel for the car. So this is the BMW M3 drift vehicle, and it does not have that much power. Obviously I'm in the wrong gear, so maybe third gear would be a better option. Yes, it is. So I'll try to perhaps stick to second, third for this, just as I start to get used to doing a little bit of drifting with this vehicle, which I'm starting to kind of do. It's these sorts of corners where I really struggle. I've switched off ABS, so I should be able to lock the brakes, which should allow me to help me turn into corners. That is the plan anyway. And I will speed up as time goes on. I know about this clutch thing that you're supposed to do. Is it clutch kicking? Well, I had some smoke coming out the back, so I'm not Canadian, I'm not going to say smoke coming out the back. Interesting. Locking the tyres there does not help, though doing this also does not help. I think perhaps I am in an incorrect gear, or the gearing is not quite what I want it to be. Now I think the other thing that I'm doing a lot of is apparently stuttering, having stutters. Okay, that was unexpected. I seem to be doing a lot of steering that maybe... There we go, there's the first... I sort of caught it. Tyres appear to be heating up quite a bit, so maybe I would want to drop the tyre pressures. Not entirely sure. Get it? Entirely? No? Okay. And I know the idea of drifting is to get as close as you can to the apex of a turn. I know that that is something that they do. Nope. There we go. That is a proper spin. I am going to make an adjustment on these tyres actually. So how do I do that? Let me switch my head tracking off. Go back to the pits. Let's see. Where would it be? Tyres. Let's bring the pressures down on them. I do have Street 90s tyres on this because I thought that might be the better option. Hopefully it is. It may not be, but hopefully I can only think that is a good thing. Semi-slicks would be terrible. That flag. Well, those flags appear to be quite buffeting quite a lot. Maybe it is a windy day. I do not know. Okay, still sliding, so that is good. Still able to slide. Second gear just appears to be just that little bit slow. Now I understand that when you slide, what you're supposed to do is let the wheel correct, so you just let the wheel feed through and you just hold it where you want it. In theory, that is what I understand of the theory of this sort of stuff. I have to try and remember clutch kicking. My accelerator pedal's also gone a little bit funny in terms of please be good, please be good, please be good, almost. It doesn't seem to be pressing all the way again. I keep having to recalibrate my accelerator pedal for some reason. Not entirely sure why. This must just be a Fanatec thing. Maybe? No. Kind of. So, brake, turn in, clutch kick, there we go. Spin, lose control. Yep, that was all part of the plan, right? I could switch off. No, I'll leave the lights on. What's the ABS? The ABS light that's now come on. Or was that on from before? I have no idea. This is something we no longer have on cars. Because you have the side lights, it doesn't light up. It doesn't tell you when your headlamps are on. So some cars used to tell you when your headlamps were, your dipped beams, that is. And then obviously full beams are the blue bits. I think I had my hazards on there too. Let me just double check. Yep, that was hazards. So I'm also looking at the same time, I'm looking at this update to the BMWs. I wonder what the M3 would be, the E92 M3 would be like on this. And so, as I was saying before, if I understand correctly, you let the wheel feed through. That is the point. Or maybe not so much like that. So you let the wheel feed through, and then you're supposed to hold it in place where you want it, and use the throttle to maybe get the car to do what you want it to do. Is that? I may be completely wrong. I've not really looked at that much drifting, as you can see here, I'm more of I race. I try not to slide cars, not an extreme amount anyway. I can always slide a car a little bit, that's perfectly alright, but sliding a car an extreme amount is maybe. No, I feel like that. So that corner, I feel like I'm slow in that corner there because I'm going too slowly. I think I need to go faster. So this corner I can throw it in, do a little clutch kick, there we go. Go out there, turn it around. Kind of. Let it go around. Too fast. Okay. I will be moving to, as I said, the better drift machinery in a little bit, but I just want to effectively get a feel for these transitions, which appear to now be messing up quite a lot. It looks like my rear tyres are up at 38 psi, which probably means that they will slide very easily, but maybe not grip again quite as easily. So let me try and hold third here, turn it in, kick it a little. There we go. That was a drift. I see smoke in the back, so it was definitely a drift. This is bad. That's just understeer. That's over the grass. That was a drift, but too close on the inside. So a drift did occur. Turn that in. There we go. Too slow. I think that is what it is. I'm going too slowly. I'm not sure why I'm treating this car as if it has a dogleg gearbox. Second is where second is, not first being where second is. I keep only starting the car in second. That seems good. That does not seem quite as good. Now, was that, the question there is, was that too much power, too little power? That is what I'm trying to work out. So was that the fact that I should have eased off to try to get the rear end to bite more? Maybe. This is all a learning experience. That seemed like that was a good drift. And then this way, that's too much. Almost had it. Kind of going to go to the replay just to check that one out. I feel like I almost had it there. So I'm just going to go to the end of that. That's one not there. No, we ignore that bit. Let's find out. So this corner. It is a drift. it wasn't a great drift, I'll admit that. But I mean, that is a drift. Maybe I can get a thumbnail somehow from this, if I'm going to use this car as the thumbnail. This isn't even that close. To be honest, that it isn't actually as great a drift as I would want. I did have hazard lights on at some point. Interesting looking at the camber, the amount of camber on the wheels. That is quite interesting to see. That is a drift. Just drifts out just that little bit more than perhaps I would want. But that is a drift. Oh, I keep forgetting that this does not, the roll does not work with this. Every time you do that, it stops the photo mode working. So what you have to do is you have to go out of photo mode, back in. Yeah, it's something about tabbing all the way through to make this work again. I cannot remember. Do I press that? Go back into replay and then try it. Oops, that's not the one I wanted. There we go. Now. See, no smoke. No smoke. Okay, so I'm not very good at drifting, but I am certainly learning, I think. Not very fast. I think that is my overall problem. Just looking at this, the way I'm driving this, maybe I have no idea how to drive faster at this point in time. Could just be practice, I guess. In fact, it more than likely is just practice. Yes, there go the hazard lights. That isn't great. I guess I am going to just go to one of those potential corners. Try to find some smoke. No smoke appearing. Come on, give me something. This one was probably the best bit that I had. Not great. I mean, look at that space. You could fit an entire car in that gap. But it is something. In fact, what I should do is I should zoom out and bring this a bit closer. That's supposed to be the drift thing, right? You really zoom out and bring it in like this. That's what they do with drifting. What do I want to do? Shutter speed can go down. I need to mess around with the aperture. There we go. That will work. That will work. And shall we see what the shots looks like before I take it? I think so. So, here goes an attempt with this car. Let's find out what this feels like. Ooh, it's a little bit heavy. Steering wheel's running quite heavy. Oh, that is very heavy actually. I may lower the force feedback even further for this. Okay, this car just steers. Interesting. Just goes. Very, very sudden steering on these. That's interesting compared to the Kunos ones. These things steer much, much quicker. Like the steering rack is very, very short on these. I suppose it needs to be on a drift machine to be able to actually get the car drifting. Bit too heavy for my liking at the moment, so I'm just going to... This isn't... So it's really strange because it isn't like force that's coming through. It's just... It just seems heavy. And also very, very direct. Like there's no sloppiness to this, which is really quite cool. Yeah, there's absolutely no sloppiness to what I'm doing here. Like every movement I'm making is very forced, oops. Yeah, I am going to let me drop the force feedback. It just feels odd. I think I need to drop my natural friction or something on this. So let's put this down to 60 and see what this feels like. Now I am running this with, oh, that's so much better. 60 might be a little bit too light now though. I am running this with, Fanatec, what's this called? Club Sport DD. So obviously there will be a sweet spot for this. That is so much nicer. Much better. Now I can throw it around without it seeming like it's going to kill me. Okay, so turn it in, slide. It's very grippy. It is surprisingly grippy. I think. Yeah, this is surprisingly grippy, more grippy than I thought it would be. And this is like coming up onto the bump stops of my wheel. But it holds, it does hold. The only thing is it comes back across far quicker, as I said, than the BMW. It just turns It's like it has very, very high rotational, or very, very low rotational mass, and the wheel is extremely responsive. If this is what a real drift car is like, I think I wouldn't say I'd be great at it, but I feel like I could probably get into one of these and drift fairly easily. I will switch on my head tracking momentarily. In fact, let me just do that now. That way maybe it'll be better because I can see exactly where I'm going. Turn, oh, clutch kick, right? Yep, that helps. Nope, do not hit that. That was close. That was very close. So, the blue one that I said I'd been using, the Fumi one, that actually I think may have been easier than this to slide around. Though that being said, I feel like I'm going much faster here and really trying to do a lot more sliding, whereas when I was doing that practice before, as I said, and trying to record this before, what I had done was just trying to throw the car around a single corner and just hope it sticks. This, I'm actually trying to do transitions, I guess. I think that's what they're called. Again, somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. Oh, those cannot be knocked over, okay. And also, I'm not sure when you're supposed to perhaps change gear in these things, or oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. I assume you're supposed to try and hold a specific gear and only change if you're on like a straight section or something. Round I go. I'm guessing that is what you're supposed to do, but I have no idea. This car does feel like, I think the rear tyres, maybe I would need to add some pressure to them. They are grippy. The front tyres seem to lean more towards understeer. So I suppose changing the camber on this, perhaps maybe just to suit my own driving. It could just be my bad style of drifting that is causing me to have to do this. So yeah, I sort of see where this is going, because I'm throwing the car around. I'm starting to get that feeling of, oops, going to hit that wall. Lucky missed it. I'm starting to get that understanding of controlling the car with the power as opposed to just trying to control it with the steering wheel, and that is something that I guess really needs to be learnt. But I'm still sort of going for the steering wheel because that is what I'm used to. Turn out of it, not power out of it. So going into this, turn it in, get the steering wheel where I want, and use... I suppose I have to be very loose on the wheel, so if I turn that in, how am I supposed to put more power in to get that? I suppose if I put more power in, the back end will step out because it won't have grip. So like that. Oh, and then suddenly it grips. I suppose that is the point where I need to try to... So I have to aim, it seems like I have to aim the car for my exit already, so I know where I want to exit, and that is where I've got to be steering for. But how do I do that when I cannot see the exit point? That is the question. So turn that. It is interesting. I will say that. Drifting, it is interesting. Now I know there are a number of unrealistic drift cars in Assetto Corsa as well, but I want to try and do this as properly as I can. It may not look fancy, but I want this to be as as realistic as possible, if not, even if it isn't fancy. So I turn that in, there we go, but it still doesn't... So it's as if the steering wheel... Yes, it's just there's a lot of grip. This car has a lot of grip. Is that normal for a drift car? I guess it needs to have a lot of grip, so you need to be able to pull out of a turn very quickly or change direction very quickly. That sort of was getting a little better. So this one, clutch kick, nope, that's just really bad. But I can just give it a boot full of power and it goes. It's just understanding, as I said, how to do that. So I could do that, get the back end loose, and then that. And I suppose that is the point of the transitions. It's to try and keep the back of the car loose enough that it can slide around, whilst the front of the car keeps pointing in the correct direction. I'm assuming that is the point of it. Again, Not a drifter. Not a drifter in the slightest. See, that is just understeer all the way through into some oversteer. Maybe that is how you start to drift. You go understeer into oversteer, so I just have to start doing that a lot earlier. I always thought it was oversteer into oversteer, but maybe oversteer into oversteer isn't quite the way forward on some of these turns. I have no idea. Again, just making it up as I go along, and hoping that anybody watching this will say, actually, that wasn't the worst. Wasn't the worst drifting we've seen. It's also, I guess, getting the entry point correct. So if you get the entry point wrong, I'm on the grass, aren't I? Yes, I am. Made the corner, but it's on the grass. Yes, I suppose I have to get... If I get the entry point correct, then it allows me to, for example, do that, but then I have to make sure I get that next transition right. It's just a matter of understanding where I've got to maybe put the power down. So this bit is, I guess you could slide through all of this, but I'm not going to. I'm going to try to get a little bit close to that's on the grass, that's no good. That's a drift, but not close enough to the apex. And then that is definitely going into a drift. That's fairly close to the apex. Not the greatest of drifts, though. And this drift I cannot work out. I guess this might be one where I have to tap the handbrake like that. Maybe that is what I'm supposed to do. Handbrake definitely seems to help because it just gets the car turned so quickly, so much quicker than slamming on the brakes and trying to shift the center of gravity. But being a rear-wheel drive car, I would have thought that being able to shift the center of gravity should be fairly simple. 40, I mean, I am going around at 40 miles an hour or something like that. And this is going to be getting towards the end of the video because, see, here I do not need a handbrake. I think hitting the brakes here, I can actually get it in to that corner. So this first section I seem to be okay at getting it into the corner. It's a transition that then I appear to fail. So see how far out I am when I should be, I think, much, much closer. And that's now too far over. What's about third gear? I wonder what third gear... Okay, third gear still does something. Third gear has less power to it though, so I guess I would not be able to control... I would not be able to control it with the power. Maybe I should change my gearing so that I can do all of this in second gear. Perhaps. Maybe that would help. I doubt it would help, but I'm clutching at straws here to try and improve my drifting skills. Nope. No good. I think it's just my throttle application that is just not good enough. I think it really is just my throttle application that is just not good enough. But practice. practice makes perfect. See, here, I'm starting to consistently be able to at least throw the car in. That one was not very good, but at least I'm able to get the car thrown into the corners and slide. And I keep hitting my microphone. I do apologise about that. I'm hitting my microphone cable. And I guess there it's just speed required, right? And there, I guess, turning point was incorrect. I'm not sure. Too little speed, so I'm going sideways, but not fast enough. So I'm not. Effectively, I'm literally pointing in the direction of travel, as opposed to the side going sideways. That was almost okay. Okay, let me go back to the pits, and just to end this, I'm going to try something else. Let's give this a go. Back to pits, and I'm going to first off pump those up 3 psi. Secondly, I'm going to put my brake bias. I want to lock the rear brakes a little bit easier. So I'm going to do that. Then I am going to... What else was I going to do? Change my gearing. I could do that and just leave it in 3rd gear the whole time. 38 to 100. That seems like a pretty good... That seems like a good gear set. Here we go. Let's try that. Okay. Which way am I? There we go. Right, yes, 3rd gear is long now. Or longer than it was. 2nd gear was really short, so I could use 2nd for... So I could use 2nd... Oh, okay. Car turns a lot faster now. The only thing is, I now have less power to play with. But I think that's okay. I think. I think that might be okay. Though I might need my handbrake a little bit more. The handbrake that I do not have. That's just a little button on my steering wheel. The steering wheel that's flailing around. Yep, that isn't going to work. It isn't. It is not. Not the right gear set. Okay. Maybe that. 1st and 2nd gear could then work. Let's try that. It's also really interesting because this is I do that with my real car as well. Because this is a Japanese car. I really should be letting go of the steering wheel. Because this is a Japanese car, it is the side of the road they drive on is exactly the same. So it's very natural for me to know where the sort of front left corner of the car is. Far more natural than if I'm driving this in the opposite direction and trying to know exactly where the front right is. That's better. That feels better. That gear ratio feels a lot better. It's just got that couple of extra miles per hour, and it just has slightly less power. Just feels like slightly less power due to the... Whoops. That's what happens when you press the handbrake. Okay, that's what happens when you press the handbrake at the wrong point. There's people in the crowd that are probably looking, going, what on earth is this blithering idiot doing? But you have to start somewhere, I guess. Okay, it's raining for some reason. Again, I did not order any rain, but fine. Rain will help, will make the ground more slippery. Not slippery enough. Maybe I need to get the turning. Maybe I need to change the camber so I've got better turning. That would really help if I had just better control over my turning. Turn in, come on, kick it. There we go. That clutch kick was wrong. Okay, getting there, starting to slowly, and I do mean slowly, understand how to drift a car. And I'm not I'll be honest, I'm not somebody who's like, oh yes, I need to drift a car all the time and it's like one of the most amazing things ever. No, not particularly. Yes, I've watched Initial D, and yes, getting an AE86 driving like that would be astounding. Or any of the cars in that, the Sylvia, the two RX-7s, the FC and the FD. What else is there? There's a Honda Civic in there, I think. Then there's the Levin. There's the Corolla Levin. So that's the one with the single overhead cam as well. What other cars are there that I've seen in that? There's quite a few. I think is there not a Lancer in there as well at some point, I think. Okay, almost. This has been 1 hour of me slowly improving. Not enough turn. Get it on this one though. Not enough power. How about this one? More power, more turn. There we go. Not enough. Not enough speed? Maybe. Over the cross we go. It's fine. Yes and no. Or maybe. No, that's a no. Yep, we'll do one of those pretending we're doing this intentionally. Or just heating, all I'm doing is I'm just heating up my tyres just to make sure that they go around the corners properly. That's what I'll claim I'm doing. And if it helps me through this corner, which shockingly it did, I wasn't close to the apex, but I'm actually sliding the car around. Okay, this is a matter of clutch kicking through this one, or if not clutch kicking, I'm handbrake turning through that one, at least in this car, with this setup. Maybe other cars and other setups, or with my lack of skill. There's probably a way to do it without having to do that full stop, but I do not know it. Go around, that's it, go around. Not that far around. That was bad. Drifting in a straight line, I'm not sure that is something I'm supposed to be doing, but alright. Come on, go around, that's it. Okay, what have I done wrong there? Now I feel like I'm maybe pushing too hard because the car's going too sideways and I'm not able to get out of it. So how do I fix that? Do not take the car too far sideways. So anything over, it seems in this car, anything over maybe 80 degrees or so, 75, 80 degrees, it's not recoverable. At the apex, I guess. So if I am... I'm working on it. I could probably do this for another 25, 30 minutes. See, that is very recoverable. So that was what, maybe 50 degrees? That is just the wrong gear. That is not going to be recoverable. That was over 90. So how am I doing that? I'm turning it in, but not having enough grip on the front tyres. That is what it is. The front tyres are not biting. So how do I get the front tyres to bite a little better? Change the camber. Change the camber of the front tyres, they will bite a little better. That is what I need to do. But then this car may just not be able to, maybe the steering rack is not good enough for over that much, for example. I think the steering rack just cannot take over. I know I've seen some drift cars where the steering just, the angle of steering is insane. I think this may not be one of those cars. That could do. Go on. That's a bit much. Come on. No. Maybe letting go of the accelerator, getting the car to start turning back. I don't know. I'm learning, I'm trying to figure this out. And hopefully you guys are enjoying this. Oops. Do not do that. Okay, well, here we go. That's a really bad tap. I'm going to try one more thing. I'm going to attempt one more thing before ending this video. I know I said I was going to do other things. I want to change this. So if I add in more negative camber, let's do that, and then what is it? It's positive toe, isn't it? For stability. No, I want a negative toe. That's what I want. So that means I'm going to have much faster turning, so that should help. Now that is okay. I think I want, yeah, that is all right as well. I think that should be. In fact, let's add in an entire degree of camber. And I know I could potentially do this, offset this and have it one side a different camber. All of that seems okay. Ah, yes. Diff power. Bit more oversteer. Actually, probably do not want that. Diff coast, what does that do? Keep the wheels. Want to turn less? Yes, this is something I'm experiencing. So I want to drop the coast on that. There we go. Brake bias, that seems okay for my locking of the wheels. Right, here we go again. Always good to make those turbo blow off noises. Yep, that's a little bit more agile. Right, let's give this a go. I can hear it already hitting the limits. Yep, that's pretty good. I'm liking that a little bit more. It's a bit more comfortable. It's just that little bit. So I know it's only a small difference, but it appears to have made the car just that little bit easier to get turning around. I still have a little bit of understeer I'd like to dial out for that sort of a corner, but I'm worried that in doing so I will make the slower corners very, very unstable. That's my concern, is that in doing that the slower corners will become very, very unstable. Maybe this needs first. I wonder. Try and throw that around in first. Go on, go around in first. No, first now. I think I've got first too long. Right. So there has to be a sweet spot somewhere that I haven't quite got for this track. Yeah, turning is much nicer now. It just feels a little bit, I say much nicer, I'd say compared to before, yes, nicer. Maybe not much nicer, but it is, I would say not even subjectively, I'd say objectively, this is more responsive. It does have a weird, still has that weird understeery kind of feel. But again, the other thing I could say that this is potentially down to could be literally my bad drift skills, that I'm not able to get the most out of this. For example, that just was really, really poor, as was that. So there is that as well. That I'm just not able to keep that speed up to get the car drifting. Go away, rain. I have no idea where this rain is coming from. As I said, I had scattered clouds. I didn't check the weather report, but I wouldn't have expected it. Oh dear. Maybe throw the wheel in a bit more. That's the other thing maybe I'm not doing. I'm trying to, and I mentioned this at the start, I know it's supposed to be something about letting the wheels slide between your hands as opposed to trying to control it, and I'm noticing myself still actively trying to control it, and you can probably see that on the video where it looks a bit more like it isn't quite flowing. And that is something I have to improve on. But I think at this point I'm just going to potentially take a... Come on, turn it. I'm just going to take some screenshots and end the video. I think this has not been the worst experience of drifting. That probably needed first to get out of that. And maybe the other thing is gearing. Maybe I'm not supposed to just sit in second gear. I am just stuck in second gear at the moment. Television show references notwithstanding there. But yes, maybe I should be looking at dropping it into, okay, well, that stalled the engine. Dropping it into first for some of these. But let's just finish off this lap. Go take some pictures. I'm sure I've got a few, maybe I've got one or two drifty moments to look at. Now obviously I know if you're facing backwards in a drift, unless you're doing some weird, is it reverse entry drift, is that what it's called? Unless you're doing that, you've got a problem. You've clearly gone wrong if you're facing backwards in a drift. And that is clearly what is happening now. That is telling me that my drift day is over. I thought I was in first. Why did I think I was in first? Let's try and maybe, just maybe get this corner right for one. Nope. Understeer, understeer, understeer. Clutch kick into oversteer. Right, that end bit was okay. And then I hit the wall. Okay, well, we are done. Let's go have a look at the... Let's go have a look at the replay. And end the video. So, no, I do not want to press that. Go over to this. Right. Okay, so it doesn't look terrible. It honestly does not look terrible. I could see this being worse. I could see this being a lot worse, but obviously it looks unstable. See, that doesn't look the worst thing on earth. That actually looks quite... In fact, that actually looks remarkably reasonable. I want to watch that corner again. Now, obviously, if you do that, then there we go. Now we're talking about real drift speeds, right? I mean, if I did that and took some sort of screenshot, zoomed out. Yeah, it's one of those. There we go. Oh, well, no, maybe not that. There, like that. And see what that gives. Not the greatest of screenshots, actually. It looks like one of those drone shots gone wrong. A really bad drone shot. But I'll take it anyway. I'll save that one. I'll try and get a better shot of this. I wonder what shot through the smoke would it... Actually, that could also work somewhat. We do that. And also something like that. Let's have a look. Oh, the car is out of shot. Let's put the car in shot. Okay, this one would work at a different time of day, I think. Wait, this track does not have any lights. Oh, bother. Okay, this one will not work at a different time of day because the track has no lights. Maybe with a shadow, though. Slight shadow somewhere. Maybe. I thought this track would have lights. Apparently not. Hopefully you enjoyed this video anyway. As I said, not the greatest. I'm not a drifter, that is for sure. As you can clearly see from this video, that is actually a good shot. That one would probably look best. I don't know where the sun... Okay, the sun is behind us, so what would happen if I put... Now, there's nowhere I can put the sun where it would catch the sun. Let's do that. And take that. That actually could be a decent-ish shot. Good learning experience. I think I need to adjust my steering wheel a bit for this as well. I don't think I'm quite where I should be with the steering wheel. Right, let's try and find another... Try and find an angle. So whilst I'm doing this, I'll find an angle. There's an angle that I want. With an F number, there we go. So that gives me the focus that I want. And mind you, I've got to remember I need to see the smoke. this is drifting we're doing. I wasn't doing terribly. I mean, I was getting the car turned. It's just I wasn't getting it turned correctly. That's all. I'll get there perhaps. I say perhaps, so let's go back to some of my later drifts. So this was after I changed, what did I change here? Tyre pressures and gearing. I actually think I was slower. And I certainly stalled the car a lot more, I think, after doing that. So that is perhaps something to bear in mind. This is where I'm about to crash the car, but before I do, I'm about to have one almost great. See, there's the understeer. Massive understeer there. And I kind of want to try and get that, because that was the closest I was when drifting to an apex, I think. I may have been a little bit closer without going over the top or over the edge. Do that. And of course, because it's drifting, the car must be very, very sideways on the picture. Like, completely sideways. I can also, you know, with this one, I could probably put some color grading into it. Where's the Kodak one? Kodak. Or is it Fujifilm? No, there is a Kodak one too. Look, it looks like a Kodak picture. It's a Kodak moment. No, actually, none of that will do. Adjust the time offset. Yes, no, maybe. That could do. Adjust that. I'm actually going to pull out some of that tilt. So we take that as a picture. It kind of shows me doing something. In fact, I will use that as another point of reference anywhere else where I get some smoke. Like that. And actually be this side, like that. Zoom in a little more. Like that. Not quite like that, more like that. There we go. Nope, do not like that either. It needs to be in the middle. There we are. That is better. Okay, and with that, I'm going to end this video. So thank you very much for watching. Please remember to click on the like button if you like this video. Subscribe to the channel for more videos on Assetto Corsa. Obviously, Assetto Corsa 2 is coming soon. TM. I have no idea exactly when Assetto Corsa 2 is coming, but it is coming, and with it should be loads more episodes. The back of this car actually looks really nice. It should be loads more episodes with lots of. Well, I'll be looking at every single car in Assetto Corsa 2 and the AI and just absolutely everything. I'm going to try and have a look at everything as and when, of course, Assetto Corsa 2 is released. So I think, actually, I'm not entirely sure when it is, but I'm trying to find a certain point of track where I should. Surely I was doing okay. Is it not this corner? So yes, I will be doing that. I actually want to potentially try and play a bit of Assetto Corsa Competizione at some point, if I am able to do such a thing. That would be quite useful, I think, for me, because of the whole GT cars, and I've not really done that. That looks quite good. but how good is the question. How do I make that look better? Angle for a shot, angle for a shot. Not sure. Yes, so Assetto Corsa Competizione, I might be trying to play a bit of that if possible. May not be able to do so much of that, but I do want to perhaps give that a go. I know that it is obviously really good, so I want to give that a go and try it out, if, as I said, if possible. So make sure you stay tuned potentially for that. No guarantees. And of course, all the other videos. If you can do so, please do consider supporting me on Patreon, link in the description box below, as are links to my social media and Discord server. That is all from me. And I think I've already said this, but because I've been too busy doing this and on autopilot, I've not quite, my brain has not quite processed what I've just done. But that is all from me, and I will see you next time in Assetto Corsa, or indeed any other video on my channel.